the cavern is filling quickly with water. And you last saw KoKo fall into what looks like a frozen river of some sort.
Okay, so Otto, I'd like to make a plea to the air methods.
Okay.
Admirals of the air, arbiters of the sky, hear my plea. The bigs always mess with the smalls. Protect me and I will protect you.
The ice method up on the top there kind of looks in your direction and goes, yeah, the bigs do go against the smalls.
Ursula being very hurt and a little scared is kind of not, maybe she doesn't even know she's doing it, but like kind of like a turtle retracts into its shell. She becomes like this form of like a bunch of stars.
So the joints in her arms and body, places where bones connect, begin to glow slightly and get brighter and brighter and brighter until she very quite literally looks like a walking constellation of a bear holding a bow.
Val is going to gingerly make his way around the back of the elemental.
Okay.
Go ahead and move your man.
Yeah,
Cool.
man.
All right. Yeah, come over to the side of this ravine to make sure that KoKo and Octavius are okay, and look up at this method and go, hey, and chuck a dagger at it.
Oh no, KoKo fell into a ravine. I must intervene. Go, it's far too cold. I shall grant you a boon.
And from around your feet, small swivels and swirls of air begin to move around, and you feel faster. It feels as if you have been invigorated with a magical speed.
And uses her bonus action to send the sparrows once again towards this ice elemental here.
Sure.
Your sparrows swoop in, following the command of your voice, and though they don't seem to be doing too much damage to it, sure enough, those little pecks and scrapes of their claws are dropping chunks of ice off of this elemental.
Vampiric Sacrifice. The player with the least hit points sucks the life force from the ally with the most hit points.
What?
Healing themselves but harming another. Roll 2d10 and gain that much HP while the ally takes that as damage.
Otto, you have to get over here. I reel back and I charge up the ravine and I tuck my legs in and try to spin across.
Oh, so little vampire fangs poke out of Otto's beak.
Feels right.
And you literally suck 2d10 points of blood.
They feel like this almost burning feeling kind of coming from their chest, and all of a sudden they cast Firebolt.
And it is vulnerable to fire, so that actually upgrades to 20 damage. And in fact, part of its body sort of sloughs off, kind of like a glacier melting. KoKo, the air that's swirling around your feet seems to pick up a little bit, and almost as if you're walking on air itself. And as you slide over to the ice elemental, your speed picks up, and almost to the rest of you, it's very kind of jarring to see her around the ice elemental. And sure enough, with your 50 foot of silk or hemp rope, wrap around its feet, the ice elemental, also not being very graceful, trips over the rope and falls face first onto the ice below.
Ursula, Saint, come on, we have to get out.
I might have to stay. Dear Aitha? Dear Aitha, it's me, Saint. Am I meant to stay here and free the ice giants? Is that my destiny?
So you also hear this horrible sound. It sounds like as if 3 lions were being ripped apart at the throat while they were howling, while they were growling.
I understand the whole gods thing, but we have to go.
You look out, and you are standing halfway up Mount Rossig. Down below, there's a frozen lake that you see. Sticking out of that frozen lake are bits and pieces of ruined buildings. Old, stone, dark.
May I just ask? We've all been brought here together. to a place unknown to all of us. Why? Don't you think there must be a reason?
To teleport 5 people from hundreds of miles apart all to the same place is either a very powerful wizard or a god.
I'm gonna set the Yeti dung on fire.
Okay. So between torches, between other flammable materials that you have that aren't soaked, and between the dung, you are going to have to take a moment to piece this together. You're able to pack it together in something that you could ostensibly set on fire. As you're glancing around, that dull rumbling begins to grow, and you see cracks and fissures in the walls and the ceiling of the ice cave start to form. The water is still dripping and pouring in, and that's when you realize that the cave itself is starting to melt. The queen of the frost giants start to flex her hand, and you can see the ice start to crack around it, and she starts, the one that's around her staff, and she starts to move this other hand forward, and she's pushing against the ice, pushing to give herself room to breathe.
It's the spider where
Yeah.
she's pushing.
The earthquake starts an avalanche.
Oh my
And a
god.
big wave of snow starts to pour down the side of the mountain at all of you.
I have a bedroll.
Okay.
Could I turn it into a toboggan?
You throw this bag down. You leap on top of it. You're holding Otto. Otto crawls up onto your back, and you begin to streak down the side of this mountain on your bedroll.
You have to find a boulder, a cliff. We have to cover. We need cover.
Right.
Okay. You start to slide down this mountain at a pretty quick pace.
Yeah.
You glance back, and you have to rub your eyes for a moment because you see something that you've never seen before, and it completely blows your mind. This massive gold horse. It looks like a horse covered in gold scales with a huge flowing white mane and a horn coming up out of its head. Not a unicorn, but a gold horse with this mane is flying across the side of the mountain, and it's coming down below you. And as it's coming down, a big bolt of gold lightning streaks out of the sky and strikes the ground in front of it, blowing ice and rock up in all directions. And you hear that same horrific roar of the 3 lions being ripped apart at the vocal cords.
Ursula! Bedroll! Horse!
Down here!
She unfurls her bedroll, kneels on it, and then holds up her shield and casts light on it and tries to reflect the light and the sun into the golden unicorn.
That's big brain right there. That's what that is. That's big brain stuff.
Is there any kind of
Shelter?
that we see around?
You look to the west and you see an overhang with a large insect-like creature holding a huge ice spear.
What?
And it's using a cliffside as shelter.
Going to tell everyone this way and go that way
Okay.
towards
Love it.
that.
The big bug.
Love it.
Towards the big bug, because otherwise we're
Big bug or death.
Sure.
we're squished.
Sir,
Stuck
and
just
you
that.
start gliding over that direction, and as you glide that direction, the horse creature, which none of you have still figured out what it is, which is great, obviously notices you, sees where you're going, sees the threat that's there, rises up into the sky, and summons
Oh no.
2 angels.
What did we step into, man?
The angels start bombarding this massive ice devil and thrashing it with holy swords. And holy fire starts to erupt off of these angels and burn this ice devil into like a pile of bone and sinew. And this creature,
Feels like
This
we shouldn't
creature-
be going over here, but it's really our only option.
this creature wraps around, and as it wraps around, it nods at all of you, and you can hear its voice inside of your head.
Whoa.
Seek shelter, and I will do what I can. and it starts to bolt up the side of the mountain at lightning fast speeds. And you can see snow start to blow out in front of it as if it's creating a wave of force as it goes up the mountain.
Dung fire. Ah, yes, the dung fire.
So you get out your weird amalgamation of torches.
What have I come in? Seriously, what happened last night? I did not do this. I was not here.
You plant it down on the rock, and you do your best to get out your little flint and tinder, and you're striking it to try to get this thing to ignite, and it eventually does. At this point, all of you feel it's horrible.
It's hard because the warmth feels good, but the smell is not.
does not feel good.
My eyes are watering.
Does not.
This wave of peace pours over the top of each of them. And again, you hear this voice, and as you look up, there's this massive golden horse with a white mane hanging down off of its head, and it looks down at all of you. I have come for the one known as Ursula.
Do you know why we're here?
I do not have time to answer your questions.
Really nice meeting all of you, and hopefully I'll find out more information. I'll come back for you.
I am Hunray, the voice of Bahatha. It almost feels as if you just met, but then all of a sudden, this Ursaka, this awkward teenage bear, climbs up on top of this creature, this majestic creature, and as the creature starts to float and fly up and away, it curls off and streaks like a bolt of lightning southward. And we would like to do a secret room with Katie.
Indeed, if we could get
You are traveling faster than you could possibly imagine. As you begin to approach this mountain peak, you notice that it's taller than the mountain you were just on. And you recognize it immediately as Atos Peak, which is one of the tallest mountains in the North Island other than the Flaming Oslog itself.
In fact,
it slows and lands and lets you off of its back. You noticed almost immediately there's a large nest, and it gestures ever so briefly towards the clouds, and they part, and you see an entire village of Aarakocra living up in the peaks of this mountain, and they don't even notice you. I must apologize for bringing you here so abruptly. Do you have it?
What?
Do you have the ball of Bahatha? That is why I am here, and why I knew you were special. You are the bearer of the animus. It is inside you. And I have a gift from my God. And he acknowledges over in the corner of this nest a small wooden chest. Before you open it, you must know there is a great task in front of you.
I want to do good, and I want to be part of the animus. I just want to make sure you're not making a mistake.
That is the last of the animus.
This.
Yes. You will take it to the Holy Land, to the place where Bahatha was born. You will bury it there. The animus was a gift from the goddess of storms. Find the place where Bahatha was born.
And if I don't succeed? Okay. It was like a lot of responsibility. I will do it. Do you know where my family is?
you will finish your quest.
Or perhaps when I'm done with this, I can save them or help them. Thank you for the opportunity.